Welcome to the Madison Millark Podcast Special Edition Series, where I go over every 2023 Men's College Basketball Conference Tournament. This is the 12th of 32 episodes, and now this will be the Summit League Tournament, which will begin Friday, March 3rd, and it will be at the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. First round will be Friday, March 3rd. Quarterfinals will be Saturday, March 4th, and Sunday, March 5th. Semifinals will be Monday, March 6th, and the final will be Tuesday, March 7th at 9/8 Central on ESPN2. All right, so the seedings. Your one seed's Oral Roberts, 27-4 on the year, 18-0 in conference play. The only team to go undefeated in conference play this season. Eastern Washington came close in the Big Sky, but did not prevail there. Your two seed is South Dakota State, 18-12 on the year, 13-5 in conference play. Your three seed's North Dakota State, 14-16 on the year, 11-7 in conference play. Your four seed is Western Illinois, 16-13 on the year, 9-9 in conference play. Your five seed is St. Thomas, 18-13 on the year, 9-9 in conference play. Your six seed is South Dakota, 12-18 on the year, 7-11 in conference play. Your seven seed is Kansas City, 11-20 on the year, 7-11 in conference play. Your eight seed is Denver, 15-16 on the year, 6-12 in conference play. Your nine seed is North Dakota, 12-19 on the year, 6-12 in conference play. And your 10 seed is Omaha, 8-22 on the year, 4-14 in conference play. All right, so Friday, March 3rd, this all begins. 7-6 Central, ESPN Plus, 9 seed North Dakota, and 8 seed Denver. North Dakota is always a doormat in this league. Their best player is B.J. Omont, 12 a game. Denver, sometimes middle of the pack, but they were not good this year. A decent scorer, though, in Tommy Bruner, in almost 16 a game, with a little over 4 assists. My projection here is Denver 5.3, total 145 and 3/4, so therefore I have Denver advancing. Second of two first-round games, 10 seed Omaha and 7 seed Kansas City. Omaha, their best player is Frankie Fidler at 14.6 a game. That's probably one of the funniest names in the sport this year. And UMKC, two guys averaging 17+ a game, Raquandius Mitchell and Shamari Allen. So that's something interesting about that team. I project Kansas City by 4, total 138 and 7/10. So therefore, I have UMKC advancing. All right, Friday quarterfinals, first of 4, 8 seed Denver, 1 seed Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts is the beast of this league. It's not even close. Their best player is Max Abonos, 22-3 a game, the best player in the conference for sure. I project Roberts by 14.3, so therefore I have them advancing. Second of 4 conference final games, second of 2 on the 4th. 7 seed Kansas City, 2 seed South Dakota State. South Dakota State, they have a decent score in Zeke Mayo at 18-3 a game. I project them by 9.3 over UMKC. So, I have South Dakota State advancing. All right, second day of quarterfinals, third of 4 games. 5 seed St. Thomas, 4 seed Western Illinois. St. Thomas, decent year for them this year. A new team in Division I, led by Andrew Rode. And then Western Illinois is a little better than people would have thought this year for them. They have a really good player in Trenton Masner, 19-3 a game. I only project Western by 0.7, total 144 and 3/4, so therefore I have Western advancing. And the last of 4 quarterfinal games, Sunday, March 5th, 6 seed South Dakota, 3 seed North Dakota State. South Dakota a little better than people think this year. Their best player is Cruz Parat Hunt. And North Dakota State, people know them for college football, but their basketball program is pretty decent too, and they've won the auto bid in this league a few times over the past decade or so. Their best player is Grant Nelson, almost 18 a game and almost 9 boards and a little over 2 assists. So he's a great all-around player and almost 1 steal. So he's almost averaging 18, 9, 2, and 1. And 1.7 blocks. So this is literally a do-it-all point forward player for them. I project North Dakota State 2.2, total 144 and a 10, so therefore I have North Dakota State advancing. Semifinals, I have a chalk here for Monday, March 6th. 4 seed Western Illinois, 1 seed Oral Roberts. Listen, I like Massner. I think he's good. They have 2 other decent players in Alec Rosner and the big man Vuk Stevnovic. And Roberts is just so deep with Ambos and Connor Vanover and Isaac McBride. I project Roberts by 13.7, so therefore I have them advancing to the title game. In the second and 2 semifinal games, 3 seed North Dakota State, 2 seed South Dakota State. A really good rivalry in this conference too. We talked about Nelson being a do-it-all player on North Dakota State. Bowden Skunberg's a decent player, and so is Andrew Morgan. And on South Dakota State, we talked about Mayo, and they have another decent forward in Matt Dentlinger. I project South Dakota State by 4.5 here, believe it or not. So, therefore, I have South Dakota State to the championship game. Them and Oral Roberts, probably the best 2 teams in the conference this year. Oral Roberts is just a machine. I mentioned Ambos, Vanover, and McBride. I just think Ambos is the best player. And South Dakota State has good talent too. And I think Mayo could have a good scoring run here. But Ambos is just better. Oral Roberts is just better. I project them by 8 over South Dakota State in the championship. So therefore I have Oral Roberts winning the 2023 Summit League Tournament. Ambos will be the most outstanding player for sure. Assuming Oral wins. And I talked about Charleston earlier being the possibility of them being an at-large team if because they only came into the conference tournament with 3 losses, but they have to win their conference tournament. I feel the same way about Oral Roberts. So Oral Roberts lost to St. Mary's, lost to Houston, Utah State, and they lost to New Mexico. So they have a really good resume. You could make a case that Oral Roberts belongs as an at-large as a 10 seed. They're that good. They better be an at-large team. But to me, I think if they lose in the title game, maybe they get away with Dayton potentially. But the conference is weak outside of them. And I feel like them or Charleston, and if they lose before the tournament, or I'm sorry, if they lose before Selection Sunday, then they might be 2016 Monmouth where they don't get in at all. And that Monmouth team had some decent wins in 2015-16, but didn't crack the field of 68 because they were in the Metro Atlantic. So I think them and Charleston could potentially be 2016 Monmouth too. And Oral Roberts can absolutely be the Loyola Chicago of this year too. I mean, I mentioned Charleston for that, and I think Oral Roberts is another one that qualifies to be that potential of an outcome for them in the tournament, potentially, depending on where they seed and who they match up against and such. In terms of other tournaments, I think South Dakota State could be in the NIT. The CBI, I could see St. Thomas, Western Illinois being in that. Maybe North Dakota State, despite being under 500. But if they finish 17-17, or if they make the title game and lose, or they would be 16-17 if they lost in the semis. But if they made the title game, they'd be 17-17. If they lost to Oral Roberts, maybe they sneak into the CBI or something, because they had a poor non-con play and they kind of got it together a little bit in conference play. And now in terms of odds for this tournament, Oral Roberts is a -190 favorite. South Dakota State's 380. North Dakota State's 9-1. St. Thomas 10-1. Western Illinois is 35-1. South Dakota is 50-1. UMKC, North Dakota, and Denver are each 95-1, and Omaha is 210-1. North Dakota State at 9-1 is pretty good value, because we talked about Nelson earlier and how he's a do-it-all player, and sometimes do-it-all players can carry you pretty far. The one that also stuck out at me from a good value standpoint was Western Illinois with Masner. If I had to make a value pick, it's Western Illinois at 35-1. I think that is really good value for Western Illinois, and maybe, who knows, there's an upset of Oral Roberts. Masner goes toe-to-toe with their guys. So the value play in this tournament is Western Illinois at 35-1. All right, so there you have it for the Summit League. And we'll continue with these podcasts tomorrow with the Big Sky, the America East, and the Southland.